Good afternoon, everybody. Back outside for a tasting, and it's real bright. I probably made a mistake coming out here. I have a stray cat today. He's been living on my porch for a few months now. I'm trying to get him into the vet to get a checkup and stuff. It's not easy to do around here. There's a lot of restrictions at the veterinary clinics. So, but one of these days, hopefully before winter, maybe give him a home, huh? But despite him sitting here, I have a tasting to do. I saw something new in the grocery store the other day, and I took a picture of it so you guys have seen it, but I haven't talked much about it yet. And this is the Glenlivet Illicit Still Edition, and it's a limited edition series. It's interesting because, for one thing, the bottle itself is real squat compared to Glenlivet bottles. They're usually taller and thinner. It's still 750 milliliters, so it's still the same amount of alcohol. It's 12 years aged, and the little story that they've got on it here says that before George Smith licensed his distillery in 1824, the Glenlivet Valley was full of illicit whiskey trade. Interesting, huh? This limited edition is inspired by the founder's original and illegally distilled Glenlivet whiskey. So bootleg whiskey recipe. This is 96 proof, so it's a little bit higher proof than a lot of Glenlivet. A lot of Glenlivet is a little bit lower than that, so it's 96 proof. And this was in the... It wasn't that pricey. I think it was in the $40 range. A lot of the whiskeys that I buy these days are in the $40 range because, for one thing, it's affordable, and for another, there's just so many of them in that range that it's easy to grab one you haven't tried. So, I'm going to pop that cork up. Smells fruity. Nice little fruit smell to it. A little bit of cream, almost. Creamy. Like fruit and cream. So we're going to go ahead and pour some of that. Oh, listen to that. That's a nice sounding pour. Very nice sounding pour. Pop that back in. And the color is a nice orangey gold color. Not so much reddish, not so much pale yellow, but definitely more of an orangey color. It shows up darker in the video than it does in person, but you get the general idea. So let's add our water here. A lot of dogs barking in the neighborhood. 3 drops of water. You drink a whiskey over there, give us some whiskey. Yeah, very fruity smelling. Very fruit and cream kind of scent to it. There's also some dander in the air here. I'm probably going to sneeze. Pardon me. I try not to sneeze. Not that there's not anybody here, obviously, but I try not to sneeze in big amounts out in people's faces and things, so I just kind of put my shirt there. But let's see. It smells good. It smells excellent. A lot of fume straight up the nose. Goes right up the top of the palate. It does have a very nice, almost fruit and cream flavor, just like it does the smell. It tastes a lot like it smells. A nice little fruit and cream burst, almost like, it reminds me of those instant oatmeal packets you used to get as a kid, like peaches and cream and strawberry and cream, and they had little dried pieces that were supposed to taste like fruit, and I don't know if they were real fruit or not, but they had this flavoring that was supposed to taste like the fruit and cream, and it wasn't probably real close, but it was pretty good. probably not very healthy, but as a kid we didn't care. And this has a lot of that kind of nostalgic taste to it. Let's see if I can have another one here. Yeah, nice fruit and cream taste. Definitely, it is a bit heavy, a bit sharp because of the high proof. My mouth, I'm getting a lot of numbness, a lot of sharpness. It's probably one of the sharpest Glenlivets I have ever had. Usually they're smoother than that, especially that last one that was in the cognac casks. That was really kind of unremarkable. And this kind of gets up in my sinuses a little bit, giving me a little bit of a nose run almost. Excellent flavor. I really like the flavor. The because it's such a high proof, the burst of fume kind of gets to me a little bit. I think I would have preferred it if it was a little bit less on that, but that might go away if you add a little bit more water. But I don't want to add too much. I usually try to stick to my 3-drop rule to make everything even across all the different whiskeys I drink. But I like it. I definitely like the flavor, and I think probably after a few sips of this, I think eventually the fumes from the high proof, I think that might die down a little bit. But initially it does kind of hit real hard, which kind of makes sense, because since it says it's illicit still, it's supposed to be like almost like moonshine kind of thing, like a bootleg from out in the valley, and it definitely gives you that impression that it was that it's straight off the distillate. It doesn't give you that impression necessarily that it's been aged for 12 years. It kind of gives you like a sense like you got it real fresh when it was still super strong. So I kind of have to wonder how this was closer to the source. If this is at 12 years, I wonder what 6 years and 5 years would be. What kind of a proof you're looking at. Because usually they tend to lose a little bit of proof over time. That's why bourbons tend to be younger than 10, 15 years, to preserve that high proof, because a whiskey will tend to mellow with age a little bit. Some of that proof will evaporate. They call that the angel's cut. And this, it surprised me, because it's got this, like I said, it's 12 years, and it still has that taste that you know that it was originally really high proof to begin with. It's good stuff, though. I like it. I think better than I liked the cognac cask version, although that has grown on me a little bit. I mean, I like it. I do like it. This guy's a little bit squirmy. He's growing on me. Oh, cry about it. I know. But yeah, it is. I like it better than that, although that has grown on me. Like I said, it's still not particularly remarkable. It's not something that, if you brought it out in a tasting, I don't know if I'd be able to say, oh yeah, this is Glenlivet, this is a cognac cask. I don't know if I could be able to pick it out, because it really doesn't remind me of much of anything. This is pretty recognizable, though. It stands out, and the flavor is great. It's a great flavor. I like it. Take a good deep breath. And that third one, yep. After a couple sips, that fume does tend to kind of go away, because now your mouth is kind of numbed to it. But that creamy flavor is still there. I really like that. I'm a big fan of that. So I might get a bottle of this, since it is a limited edition. I might try to see if I can get some of this to keep in my private selection that I keep just for super special occasions, or just to have the occasional sip out of, and not have as just an everyday sipper. Who knows? I might, now that I've had this, I might just stick this up there now. But I kind of feel like I'm going to want it again later today or tomorrow. So that's probably not going to work out. I'll probably have to get a second bottle. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Again, this is the Glenlivet Illicit Still single malt Scotch whiskey. Roughly here in Ohio, about a $40 price point, give or take. Of course, your state and your prices may vary, so keep an eye on that. And it is a limited edition, at least it says that. I don't know how limited that is, so I don't know if that means that it's going to be like 10,000 bottles, 20,000 bottles, 1,000,000 bottles, and then gone. It's hard to say. But if you want some, your best bet is to get some while you can, while the price is still cheap. Not necessarily that $40 is cheap, but as far as like limited edition stuff goes, that stuff can usually get to be pretty pricey. Anybody who's been looking for a bottle of Blanton's bourbon will know that if it's highly sought after, it's going to be very expensive in most of the secondary markets, because most of the stuff isn't always sold here in Ohio. Like I don't know a place local to me that has Blanton's. I haven't ever seen it. If it is local to me, it's always been bought up before I've got to it, because there are people who wait super early in the day when trucks unload to grab this stuff. And online, looking for a bottle of Blanton's is like $300, $400 a bottle and up. And there's like 8, 9, maybe 10 different vintages of it. And the only reason I know that is because they have these stoppers on the top that are in the shape of a horse, of a guy riding a horse, and each stopper for each vintage is slightly different, so you've got 10 total stoppers. And a lot of people try to get all the different ones so that they have a full collection. You can get little display cases with the name on them and with the stoppers and everything. So so this is nothing like that, but it's still limited. And anything limited, like I said, that you want to probably make sure you get your buys in early rather than later, so that the price doesn't go up. I've already been noticing the price going up on some things, like Glenmorangie's a tale of cake, which is supposed to be paired with like cakes and stuff, because it reminded the distiller of cake as a child. That has already started going up in price. The first bottle I got was, I don't know, 90 something. I had to order it because we didn't have it around here. And then the second bottle I got ended up being like 100 something, and this is all before shipping. So it's already going up. Things like the Octomore from Bruichladdich, prices go up pretty quick. The one I got was as cheap as I could find. It was $2.50, which is way out of my price range usually for a single bottle of whiskey. I usually keep by the rule of not spending more than $100 on a single bottle unless I really, really, really want it. And I did that, and then I used the PayPal Pay in 4, so I made payments on it, which is like, tells you I probably have a whiskey problem making payments on my whiskey. But those prices range anywhere from $300, $400, $500 for the same bottle that I got, all from secondary market, because you can't get it straight from Bruichladdich here in Ohio. And there's other examples too. Like there's all kinds of things out there. So, like I said, if you want to try this and you see it locally, grab it while you can before it gets expensive. Okay? Because I don't know how limited it is. It may be here for the next year, it may be here for the next few months, and that's it. But it is delicious. I'm a really big fan of this, of the creaminess, the kind of fruit and cream flavor. Like I said, it reminds me of those instant oatmeal packets, like peaches and cream and stuff you had when you were a kid. Good stuff. Really good stuff. I really like it. I'm probably going to get at least another bottle to try to keep it long term. Nice little warming effect in the chest too. It goes right down into the chest part, not down in the belly, right in the chest. So that's it for me. Sounds like somebody's going to start mowing their lawn, so I should probably turn this off so I'm not drowned out. Keep an eye out for the next tastings I have. I've got 2 or 3 other bottles I still need to do a tasting on, so keep an eye for that. I'm going to try to record my first interview sometime in the next couple of weeks. That's not going to be live. That's probably going to be recorded, and then I'm going to stitch it in with some other segments to make a pretty interesting little show. The plan I have the plan I have for the shows is that you'd have a tasting segment, you'd have an interview segment, and then you might have like a knowledge segment. Like if I wanted to teach people why exactly I add a few drops of water to the whiskey and what it does chemically, or if I want to tell you about infinity bottles, or if I want to tell you about the difference between Scotch and regular whiskey, or the difference between Irish whiskey and Scotch, or the difference between bourbon and rye and wheated and all kinds of other stuff. So multiple segments, multiple different things. I've got big plans for it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull any of that off, but that's what the plan is. So keep an eye out for that. I'm going to try to get, I think for my first interview, the Missing Falls Distillery, or no, Missing Falls Brewery, sorry. They're a brewery, and they do craft beer up in Akron, which is not too far from here. And I'm going to see if I can get them to sit down for an interview and tell me a little bit about their process, a little bit about their flavors. And I've done a tasting of some of their stuff before, and I'd like to see if I can get some of their latest creations and do a live tasting as well with them and give them my impressions and things. So that's what's upcoming, and hope you guys keep following, like, share, etc., etc., etc. I don't know what else there is other than liking and sharing and telling your friends about it. Give me some word of mouth. It'll be on YouTube very, very soon. So, till next time, cheers. Ooh, that's good. That's real good.